Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Chiron transiting the 10th house in a natal chart. Now, on average, Chiron will traverse a house for approximately 4 years. However, if your house size is a little bit larger than average, then Chiron will be in there for a little bit of a longer duration. If your house size is a little bit smaller than average, then Chiron will be in there for a little bit of a shorter period. Well, anyway, people, the first thing I'll look at when Chiron transits one's natal 10th house, this could be some wounds, some emotional suffering, some despondency, matters connected with one's career, their livelihood, perhaps their reputation, the public image, even with authority figures, perhaps maybe even that dominant parent, which is generally the father. This could be maybe matters connected with notoriety and recognition, perhaps. This could be a period where, when you have this transit, in some cases, maybe there's some sorrow connected with the career. Maybe in certain isolated cases, it could indicate a termination at your career. It could indicate maybe difficulties with people that are somehow figure prominently in your career. It could be with your supervisors, perhaps. Sometimes it could be a termination. It could be something where this is also a time where the 10th house is reputation, and this could be a time where maybe for some reason, maybe you're vilified by some people. Maybe somebody does something that impacts your reputation, or in this case, like for right now, if you're having this transit at the time I'm making this video, when Chiron is currently in Pisces, it could be something connected with a slanderous lie, some deception, maybe betrayal. Maybe there's something where a slanderous lie is told, which impacts your reputation during this time. At the same time, keep in mind, Chiron is the wounded healer. So you might be able to help others in these areas where you might be having difficulties with. If you're having difficulties with your career, say, maybe you could be that quintessential career, I guess you could say, like a motivator, or somebody that a career counselor, or somebody that could actually help somebody that may have lost their position, or they're trying to attain some kind of success in their career. Could be somebody that you may help that has experienced some kind of wounds with their career, and you're able to help them be resilient and bounce back and find something that they can do with their lives and find a different livelihood, a different career. It could be something where maybe the public image maybe is somehow, maybe you're experiencing some wounds connected with that, some suffering during the time of this transit. Keep in mind, the 10th house also represents the dominant parent, which is generally the father. Now, and Chiron does rule wounds, and sometimes this could be physical. It could be a time where maybe you're taking care of a debilitated parent at this time, whoever the dominant parent might be. Maybe it's a time too where, I don't want to say the dreaded D word, death, but I think that could increase the propensity for this a little bit, because we are talking about wounds. We are talking about not just the ones that are emotional, but physical as well. But in many cases, it could just be maybe something where the situation with the dominant parent might become a little bit contentious, or there might be some sorrow or some difficulties connected with that person. Well, also during this time, it's important to look at the sign as well, because that could impact the transit. Not Let's take another example. I talked about the current transit with Pisces right now, but let's say if Chiron was transiting Sagittarius. Well, this could be a time where, I mean, when you have Chiron transiting the 10th house, this could be a time where you could be maybe yourself a healer, find like a healing profession perhaps. And let's say Sagittarius, well, you could be maybe take up sports medicine as a vocation, or something with sports therapy and rehab, helping others rehab through some kind of exercising. And like in Pisces, where the current transit is at the time that I'm making this video, that could be maybe some kind of spiritual healing for others you might provide, something connected perhaps with the metaphysical, perhaps, maybe assisting others that way. And the thing too is, and also Pisces can be strongly about self-sacrifice, so you could have a lot of that in the equation as well, so to speak, as far as helping and healing other people. Now, the thing about it too is that this could also, as far as having this transit, it also could bring up some persistent problems that have resurfaced, maybe something that happened maybe with your career in the past where you had some difficulties, and maybe something with that is affecting you now for some reason. Or for example, a bad situation that happened where you felt like you could have done a better job in your career, maybe for some reason that's coming up now in connection with whatever you're doing, and maybe it's causing some pessimism or some doubt as to whether you could do that job competently in association with your career, maybe due to some past failures, for example, so in matters connected with the career. So anyway, it's also important to look at the aspects, if any, that are made from this transit to your natal planets and points, as this could impact the transit. Now let's say, for example, that transit in Chiron is making a square in conjunct or opposition to your natal Neptune. Well, this could indicate perhaps some emotional wounds may conflict with something that you're trying, something Neptunian you may be trying to do, such as something with the metaphysical or spirituality. And being in the 10th house, this could be connected perhaps with your livelihood and perhaps with your career, or the relationship perhaps with that dominant parent, which is generally the father. Now let's take another example. Let's say that transiting Chiron is making a conjunction to your natal Pluto. Well, this might be something where you might have a need to heal or help others in matters with their connected with transformation, regeneration. And being in the 10th house, this could be tied into to career and perhaps their vocation, perhaps their livelihood. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Chiron transiting the 10th house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I will be talking about Chiron transiting the 11th house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.